Gotta keep on breathing if you wanna make sense of it all. We will not fall.
So let us start seated, nice and tall. You can sit on a block, you can sit on a cushion if you like. Just gently roll the shoulders forward, up, squeeze them up to the ears, back, pull those shoulder blades together, and then just let them settle back down again. Hi, Wesley. Do that once more. Circle forward, we cave the chest in. We roll them up to the ears. We pull the shoulder blades in towards one another. And they settle back down. And then let's take our Hakini Mudra, bringing it all together, all fingers touching, thumbs touching as well. And that just rests down into our laps, softening into the wrists, letting the elbows become heavy. And the shoulders are relaxing away from the ears there too. And you can choose to close the eyes or keep a nice soft gaze. And allow yourself time to become present with yourself, breathing in and out through the nostrils. And starting to connect to the space you've chosen to practice today. Connect to your mat, that sacred space. If you hear that little scratching, that's Wesley scratching the window to get out. Oh dear. Settling into your space of your body, the space that you are occupying. Today's practice is all about connection, and that connection to heart and head. The heart logic and the mind logic are often two very different things. And it has to feel right and make sense to move forward with ease. If it doesn't feel right, but it seems to make sense, pause and investigate within. If it feels right but doesn't make total sense, ask the mind to trust the heart a little more. The heart's usually the wiser of the two. And as you breathe in to fill the lungs, expansion comes from sides, front and back of the torso, the heart space, the chest, the upper back and the shoulders. And as you exhale, letting go of tension and tightness. Breathing in, lifting the Hakini Mudra in front of the heart space, just pausing there with the thumbs connecting in towards the sternum. Bring the Hakini Mudra up in front of the third eye. Maybe the thumbs just touch there, just a light presence between the eyebrows. A moment of connection to the mind. And then raising that Hakini Mudra, the one of unity, togetherness and connection above the head, bringing heart and mind together. And then gently opening the mudra, releasing the fingers away from one another, letting the arms just gently float down to the sides of the body. Wiggle through the fingers, move into the joints of the wrists, the elbows, circle one shoulder and the other. And then circle both arms up and back behind you. Being noisy today, aren't you, Wesley? Let us squeeze those knees in towards one another. And just give yourself a big hug today. And exhale, letting the head relax down towards the knees, softening through the back of the neck, letting the head become heavy towards the earth. And you feel grounded through the soles of the feet and through the buttocks and sit bones here. And the spine starts to release any tightness, any tension in through each of the vertebrae. Nice and slowly unroll through the spine, come up to upright, bring the fingertips back behind you, and just gently draw those shoulder blades in towards one another. So a retraction there. We're going to pull the elbows in towards one another, plant through the feet, lift from the sternum, and a gentle back bend. You can always still look forward here, but we are keeping those shoulders away from the ears. Or maybe you take the gaze up to the sky. Still find that breath here. Sometimes it's a little bit more challenging to breathe when we're in a back bend, but this is a practice of back bends today. So let's get that breath dialed. Breathe deep, filling those lungs just as we did when we were seated. Keep those elbows pulling in towards one another, lifting, lifting, lifting through the heart space. And nice and slowly release. Swing the legs around behind you, come into tabletop position. Placing the fingers down underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Find a neutral spine here, gently lifting up the belly towards the lower back. Crown of the head reaches forward and you're gazing down towards the mat. Start to press into the tops of the feet and the shins. Press into the palms and you might just gently round the spine a little. Head drops and the knees come off just a couple of inches away from the mat. Hold, hold, breathe. Lower the knees, lower the shins, and then come into your cow. Hold, hold, and breathe. Do that once more. Chin drops to the chest, round through the spine, push away from the mat, lift the knees just a couple of inches. We're pressing into the tops of the feet here, and the shins reach away from the mat. Starting to activate through the core muscles, front, back, and sides. Lower knees, pressing into shins, and release into cow. Pull those shoulders back from the ears here. Third time lucky, roll through the spine, round up through cat, pull navel up into lower back, and we're broadening across the shoulders. So the shoulder blades are pulling apart from one another as if they're cascading down the upper arm. And then gently release the feet and inhale back into cow. Let's stretch back into child's pose. So release the hips back towards the heels, reach the fingertips forward, exhaling there. Maybe the head comes to a block or to the mat. Lift up, inhale once more. Give yourself the space between the belly, the chest, and the thighs. Take a moment to pause and breathe and just invite your own intention for practice, this heart and mind connection. How do you want to feel from the practice today? Nice and slowly, slide the fingers forward. Stay nice and low. Keep the chest as low to the mat as you can. Come into heart pose. So the hips start to lift. You're pressing into the tops of the feet. Feeling heavy across the upper back and the shoulder blades. Maybe the chin rests there and you look gently forward towards the thumbs, or you can rest the forehead down if the neck is a little tight. Again, finding that breath. Notice where the breath initiates. Where does it end? Is it filling the entire torso? And then look forward, slide onto the forearms, come into your forearm plank from there. Shifting the hips forward, shoulders start to come over the elbows. And again, notice, are you dropping through the shoulder blades here, or are you broadening across the upper back? Again, pulling those shoulder blades apart from one another and keeping the knees down. Belly is nicely tucked in towards the lower back here. Now you can choose to tuck the toes and come into a little stronger forearm plank, pushing back through the heels. So the heels, hips, and the shoulders are in a line. Crown of the head reaches forward. Holding and breathing. Maybe the knees are down. Pushing away through the palms, forearms. And from here, we keep the chest nice and open. We roll it through and we drop the hips and release to the tops of the feet, coming into Sphinx pose. You might want to bring the elbows forward of the body a little bit more. We're pressing into all 10 toes there, not letting those heels roll in towards one another, lifting up, relaxing through the facial expression, softening the forehead, the temples and the jaw. Again, that breath in this back bend is easy, comfortable, and no effort. We release the elbows all the way out to the sides as you roll down through the belly and the chest. Head comes to the back of the hands, big toes touch. Exhale, soften, let go, everything there. Really relax into this full prone posture. There's no activation needed through muscles. Simply relax all the legs, the buttocks, the back, the belly, the chest, the shoulders. And releasing the right arm to take hold of your right foot. Pull the heel in towards the buttock. Exhale, lengthening the hip flexor. Notice that start to stretch through the hip flexor to the thigh, to the knee. Choosing options, always your choice when you come to the mat, is to open up into a half sphinx here. So you can still pull that heel in, or you can press it away and come up onto the forearm. I quite like the option of pushing the foot into the hand as I come up into the Sphinx pose. So whether you're staying down in prone with the heel into the buttock, both hip bones, both hip flexors high, are down. And slowly lower that one down. Come back into that prone position once more to relax and let go. Shake out through the hips, waist, lower back, belly softens. Left arm sweeps around, takes hold of your left foot. Lift the hip flexor away from the mat to pull it away and lengthen the thigh down the mat. Take that quad stretch, first of all, without the half sphinx option. And then maybe you stay there, maybe you come up. The arm is at a 45-degree angle. And again, I find that quite challenging to do that. So I switch the arm on the inside. I press away through the right arm and push through the left foot. Nice. So both hip bones are grounded, right foot, all 5 toes down. Chest is pulling forward a little bit, so that left shoulder wants to pull forward. Nice and slowly release the leg, release the body back down. Again, come into full prone to relax it out. Soften across the lower back there. Hands come underneath the shoulders. Roll the shoulders back and down. Pull the elbows in and then come up into a cobra. So you're gently pressing through the mat, but you can take the hands off. So we haven't come too high that we can't support ourselves there. We're lifting up. We're using our spinal extensors, lengthening through the lower lumbar section and not collapsing. Again, take those hands off. Just check if you can do that. And then they come down, pull those elbows in and back to lift a little higher if it feels comfortable to do so. Soften through the facial expression. Shoulders are away from the ears. Hold and breathe. Lower down and bring the right cheek to the mat and hands by the hips. Sway out there. Ooh, when you introduce a hold in cobra and it's not a connecting vinyasa, it actually feels a little bit more of a challenge. Bring the hands back under the shoulders, push back to tabletop and just sway out through the hips. Circle one way and the other. Release the hips. Now come into just some ripples, cat and cow. Just get movement into the spine. Noticing how the back has started to respond. Now let's go into a wide leg child's pose from there. So take the knees wide, the big toes touch. We bring the elbows in front of us. Hands come to Anjali Mudra and the thumbs come down the back of your neck. So we're pressing into the upper arms and elbows here, pressing chest down, trying to squeeze those palms together. Maybe only the tips of the fingers touch. Maybe the heels of the hands aren't touching. We're still reaching the hips back towards the heels. Release the hands forward. Palms are face up. Open, receptive, giving and receiving. And then flip those palms, walk those fingers all the way back as you roll up through the spine. Come to the back of your mat, tucking the toes, toe squat. You can choose a toe squat here if you like with our reverse prayer. So wherever your reverse prayer is, maybe it's just down here, maybe it's taking the elbows, maybe it's holding onto the wrists a little higher, or maybe you're bringing those palms together. The more you come back onto the toes, the deeper that toe stretch is going to feel. So we've got toe stretch and a wrist stretch going on, wrist flexion going on here. Opening the chest, pulling shoulders down. We're not flaring the rib cage, pulling the rib cage in and back. Giving ourselves a big smile as we start to prepare to get a little bit more warmed up. Release the hands first. Let yourself feel that reverse prayer. Circle through the wrists. Give them a little shake out. Now you can bring the hands down into tabletop to release the toes. And we're going to start to stretch into these sunbird poses. So reaching left arm forward, right leg back. Curl it into the center. 4 of these. Exhale as you come in, inhale as you go out. Last one, left hand comes down, you bend into the back right knee, keeping the thigh parallel to the mat, and we lengthen and pull in. So heel to buttock, trying to keep the thigh parallel so the knee stays exactly where it is. Yeah, that's tough. We're lifting up through the abdomen here. 4 of those, and then we pulse. So pulsing, pulsing, pulsing. Just the heel. Heel pulses. Try to let that, not to let that knee open out to the side. It stays parallel. Now it opens out to the side, opening up into the hip. Come into tiger pose from there, reaching back to the foot. The foot presses into the hand. You're pressing through left shin, right palm, looking forward. Nice. And lower it down. Sunbird on the other side. Inhale, 1. Pull it in. 2. Pull it in. 3. Pull it in. 4. Starting to get the heart working. Pull it in. Hand comes down. We bend into the back knee. Good. Keep that thigh parallel. Heel and extend. Heel to buttock and extend. Heel to buttock. Extend. We're flexing into the foot. Toes are pointing down. Good. Last time. Pulses. Pulse the heel. Keep that knee in line with the hip. And then open the hip, open the knee, and reach the right arm back to take hold of the foot, or just reach for it. Tiger pose, holding, breathing. And back to tabletop, tuck the toes. Pedal out, downward facing dog. Softening into this posture, finding comfort here. At any point, you can come to child's pose through the practice today. Releasing both heels together towards the back of the mat. Slightly turn those heels outwards. You can always bend into the knees if the hamstrings feel tight today. Pressing chest back towards the thighs. Breathing. Going to come into a connecting vinyasa from here into a high or a low plank. I'm going to do a ground position, Ashtanga Namaskar from here. So knees down, elbows tuck in, chest and chin down, all the way to the mat. Roll up into cobra on your inhale. Second time around, we're going to do a chaturanga up dog. So your choice, you can stick with that first variation. Inhale, forward into plank. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. And exhale, back into down dog. Third time, I'll give you the choice. Knees, chin, chest, or your chaturanga. And exhale, down dog. Lovely. Looking forward, walking the feet towards the hands. Come all the way to the front of your mat. Find the feet planting. Spread the toes out. Lift up into half lift. Feel light into the heels in your half lift, so you're not sinking back into the heels, pulling more into the hamstrings. You can have bent or straight legs. Hands can be on the mat, the shins or blocks. Crown of the head reaches forward. We are lifting up through the abdomen here. Reach the arms out to the side of you, aeroplane style. They stay in line with the shoulders. Fingertips are reaching out, palms are face down. Now exhale, fold. Bend the knees and roll it up so slowly. Navel pulls into the spine. Spine rounds. Each and every vertebra brings you up to stand. The hands come down by the side of the body and you pause. Take in all the work that you've done already to get you to this place. Heart rate started to increase through points of that practice, and that's where we do quite a lot of cardiovascular work in heart-centered practices. So let's come into a nice little gentle movement of flow, taking the options as they come to you today, whether you're putting the knee down, bending knees, catching feet, hands come together at heart center for samasthiti. We inhale, we open the arms, pushing the pelvis forward, we're pressing through the backs of the hands, back of the arms. Breathe it in, come back into center as you exhale. The arms sweep down to the floor, they raise, they gather it all up. And then exhale, swan dive. So we were here just a moment ago. The hands are out to the side. We're keeping light into the toes. Chest leads as you fold all the way to your forward fold here. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands come down. We're going to step back with the left leg and find a high or a low lunge. I'm going to take a low lunge today, but you can release to the top of the feet. Raise the arms up and just take a check in of your position of your pelvis. Are the sit bones kind of pointing backwards and the pubic bone going down, or is the pubic bone rolling forward and the sit bones curling underneath you? So find that pelvic tilt there. And then once you've found that comfortable position, now start to drive the hips forward, staying in that position, because you're going to feel different feelings as you sink down further. The left hand stays up, the right hand goes to your right back or your right thigh. So maybe it's resting on your right side of your sacrum. Revolved twist there. Reaching back. Dropping hips, continuing to push those forward. Left hand places down onto the mat on the inside of your right foot, and you sweep the right arm up towards the sky. Get the belly free of that right thigh as you press into the back of that arm, back of that hand to open the chest. Hand comes down to frame the foot. You tuck your back toe and you step back into your plank pose, ready for your connecting vinyasa. Choose those. Knees, shin, chest, cobra, chaturanga up dog. Back to your downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths there. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Third one, inhale. And exhale. Right leg lifts all the way up to the sky. 3-legged dog. You look forward, you scoop that knee all the way in. You come up onto the tips of your toes. You round across the back, placing the foot to the outer edge of your mat, and then staying in a high lizard, using your blocks if you need to, fingertips or palms down, dropping through the back hip. Again, you can drop the knee if you need to here. So you can keep tall. Shoulders are pulling back, you're pulling navel in. And slow and steady breaths. From here, we gently drop that back knee, release to the top of the foot. Left hand comes to a block or to the mat, and you sweep the right arm all the way back around you. Palms are face up. You're not dropping and dumping into that left side. You're keeping lifted and pressing that left palm away from the mat. Hold and breathe. Now take hold of that back foot if it allows, or you can lift it off the mat and start to reach for it. There you can experiment with what feels comfortable. Try and get on the fleshy part of that left lower thigh. Opening chest, revolving up towards the sky. Nice and slowly you release the foot, you come back into the center. You're going to give yourself a big push to the front of your mat, or one or two. Inhale into your half lift, keep light into the heels. Exhale into the full folds, and then press through the feet. Arms come out to the side of you, maybe bending the knees, and we come into an upward facing salute, and the hands may meet above the head. Inhale into center, and exhale. They come back to Samasthiti. Take a moment to pause, let the heart rate settle. Heart rate, I'm looking at my watch, my heart rate's gone up to 101. It normally sits about 58, so I can tell my heart's working, but I am talking as well. How's that feel? Are we good? Nice, let's go into our left. So it's all slow and controlled. We're using our heart and our mind to guide us through the practice. Nothing's ever rushed. We inhale, open the chest, push those shoulder blades together, push the elbows back, and then it comes back into the center as you breathe out. The hands scoop down, gather it all up to the sky, and then fold, bent or straight legs, arms out to the side, aeroplane style. Chest leads all the way to the mat. Inhale, half lift. Lengthen, spine away, pull shoulders away from ears. Exhale, fold, bend the knees. This time we step back, right leg, find a low or a high lunge. Again, I've taken the low lunge option, but you can always do this in a high lunge. Make sure that you find that position of the pelvis. Just give it a little pelvic tilt, anterior, posterior, and then sink and drive the hips towards the front heel. You're more likely to feel that in the right hip flexor and right quadriceps from here. The left hand goes to the right back or your right leg, lifting up your right arm. So we're twisting towards the front thigh. Those are beautiful. Dropping, dropping, dropping deeper into the lunge. Right arm comes down to the mat or to the block. Left arm sweeps up. Open the rib cage. Open the chest. Get the belly free of the thigh. Keep dropping those hips a little deeper. Nice. So we're twisting towards that left thigh. Hand comes down. Frame the foot and step that left leg back into your plank, preparing for your choice of connecting vinyasa. Back into your downward facing dog. You can take a child's pose or a tabletop. 3 breaths. This is a moment to just pause, find clarity. Third breath, inhale. And deep exhale. This time we lift our left leg into three-legged dog as we breathe in. As we breathe out, the knee comes all the way through. We round through the spine, coming up onto the tiptoes. Pull that knee in. And then it places on the outside of your left hand. Keep the hips low. Keep the heart high. You can always drop that back knee down, but push back through that heel, trying to straighten out through the back knee if you've got that leg lifted. Fingertips or hands on blocks. Pulling navel in, opening chest, dropping shoulders away from ears, relaxing through the face. As I say all these things, I actually do them. Right hand comes just a little bit forward, and that's at about a 45-degree angle. We drop the back knee if it hasn't already come down, and we sweep the left arm back. And drop those hips just a little bit more. Palm is facing up towards the sky, and you're gazing back towards the fingers if the neck allows. Try and let that left shoulder drop. Good. Taking our twist from here, releasing that back leg, maybe catching the foot. Oh, different on that side. Open it out. Good. Doesn't matter if you don't lift the leg or you catch the foot, you are still reaching. Nice and slowly lower the back leg. The hands come down, you tuck the back toe, and this is where you give yourself a little bit of oomph. Stepping forward, bringing the feet to parallel. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale into your full fold. Lots of back bends today. Press through the feet, arms out to the side, bent or straight legs, bring you up to that salute. Nice back bend. And inhale, bring you to center. And exhale, the hands come into the heart, Samasthiti. Take a moment to pause and breathe. Letting the heart rate settle. Hopefully it settles quite quickly because we are moving into a standing balance. Let's find dancer pose. So dancer, we're going to give ourselves that hug in with our right leg first of all, and just let that foot dangle, release there. Make sure that your weight is coming forward, so the shoulders aren't hanging back over the hips here, but they are coming forward. My gardener's just arrived. And then from here, we take that leg back behind us, trying to squeeze both knees together. And in parallel, we're pulling navel in and we're looking forward. We're starting to now ground through that supporting leg, spreading the toes, strong ankle, strong leg, pulling up through the thighs and the hip flexors and the psoas. Change the grip of the hand, palm faces outwards and comes on the inside of that big ball of your foot. We're going to drive that foot away from us, keeping the knee in towards the midline, just as we did on those pulses. Now the arm reaches forward and palm is open. Coming into dancer, your peak pose. Find the balance. Give yourself a smile. Don't beat yourself up if you're not balancing today. Enjoy it. It's an expressive, enlightening pose. And bring it back into the center and place that foot down. Well done. Natarajasana, Lord of the Dance. Left knee comes in. Again, make sure that you're bringing those shoulders over. Give that foot a little wiggle after it's just done some standing balance for you. Give it a little shake. Take it back behind you. Quad stretch. Pull navel in. Knees together. Pull heel to buttock, just as we did when we were in prone. Change the grip. Comes on the inside. Your palm is by the ball of your foot. Start to lift the chest. Push the foot into the hand, lifting that back thigh parallel to the mat. Then the arm reaches forward. We're pulling that knee into the midline. It's not going towards the outer edges of your mat. We are strong through our supporting leg. We are enjoying the pose. We are comfortable. Lifting our heart. Bring it back into center. And let's place that foot down to take a moment of pause and rest. Now, what I'd say after dancer is just to free out any tightness. Give yourself a little shake. Free movement. Move the hips. Move the shoulders. Free it up before we come down to our mat. What I like to do here is just these lifts and releases, but you can do anything you like. Let's come to the front. Let's come down through a sun salutation. Inhale, the arms raise. Exhale, swan dive as you fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, step or float back through your connecting vinyasas of choice. We all meet in our downward facing dog for 3 breaths. You can take a tabletop or a child's pose here. And then let's all gently drop the knees. Release the hands towards the heels. Head comes down in child's pose, softening the belly and the chest down over the thighs. Still find the breath there because the lungs are pressing against the thighs. Makes it a little bit tricky to breathe. So really breathe deep through the back body. Expand the rib cage and the lungs to the sides. And then nice and slowly, you can bring the hands towards the knees as you slowly roll up through the spine. Come to the back of your mat in kneeling. Take a moment just to pause. Feel neutral through the spine. Shoulders are relaxed. Face is relaxed. And then let's widen the knees to hip width. You can use your blocks here for your camel pose if you need to. So we're going to lift up into a high kneel. You can tuck the toes of your feet if you want to come back into camel that way. But before we go into our camel pose, traditional Ustrasana, take the right hand to the right heel or right block, lifting up left arm. So it's a twisted camel there, pushing both hips forward together. So this is Almost the feeling that we did in that revolved lunge. Reaching fingertips back. And then bring it up to center. Sweep the left to the left heel, right arm raises. Pushing both hips forward, reaching back with the right fingers. And then bring yourself back into the center. Take an option for yourself of your camel pose, whether it's using hands on blocks, maybe it's the hands to the base of the spine today after all the back bends. If you are bringing those hands in, we squeeze those elbows in towards one another. You might start here and think, that's okay. I can release my hands. Remember, you can tuck the toes so the heels come a little bit closer to the hands. Nice. And wherever you go into camel, it's you that decides whenever you need to come out. And take it back into a kneel to just rest. Don't go straight into a fold, straight after a back bend. Come back into neutral. Notice what's going on. Notice what's going on in the middle back. Notice what's going on in the upper back and the neck. Now slide the hands forward and come into cat and cow. Again, slow this down so that you can actually start to feel the mobility and the flexibility through the spine from the practice you have given yourself today. And from here, we're actually going to come into a seated twist. So we come towards the back of the mat, bring the legs forward, and then bring the right leg over. Sitting nice and tall here. If this feels okay for you, you might like to just bring that right leg back around, but making sure that both sit bones ground at the same time. I'm going to keep my leg extended. Sitting nice and tall, let's take an opposition twist first of all. So we take our hand underneath the sole of the foot, opening up to the left side, away from that right thigh, pulling navel in towards the spine, chest out to the left side. Bring yourself back through center, get the belly free of that right thigh as you start to turn into your Ardha Matsyendrasana, and maybe the elbow or the arm comes across that right knee. Really planting through that right foot, right big toe. Toes are facing towards the end, the front of your mat. Squaring off the chest if you can to the right side. Again, these inhales and exhales are easy, free-flowing, and effortless. Bring yourself back into center. Extend the right leg. We're going to take a fold here, so lifting up the arms. Reach up and over towards the toes and beyond. When you get to a comfortable place, give yourself a little bit more of a lift and a wiggle through the sit bones. And then come into your fold, Paschimottanasana. Breathe through the back body. Whenever we do back bends, it's just as important to do the twists, the side stretches, and the forward folds. Lengthen the spine away to open the chest. And then lift back up, bringing that left leg across the right. Again, choosing the option of the extended leg or wrapping it around, but making sure that that left buttock comes down to the mat nice. Again, I'm going to keep my leg extended. Let's go opposition first of all, so we can take our hand underneath that bent leg. Open out to the side. The inhale lengthens the spine. The exhale deepens into your rotation. And the comfort point of the twist, bringing yourself back into the center. Get that belly free of the thigh as you turn. And again, you can hug or the elbow comes across. Relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, particularly the right shoulder. That's it. Again, that left foot is grounded. You're pulling down the left big toe. Yeah. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, deepen. Bring it back into the center. Extend those legs once more. Second forward fold, lifting up. And reach up and over and beyond. When the hands come to a comfortable place, lift the chest, lengthen spine, wiggle the flesh away, and then exhale deeper. Let the head soften towards the knees, relaxing into the neck, rounding across the upper back and the shoulders. They're pulling apart from one another. You're breathing through the back body. And then open the chest, lengthen the spine. Good, nice flat back. Lift yourself up. The arms circle all the way back around behind you. You come into staff pose. First of all, hands by the side of your hips, pulling those elbows in, flexing into the feet, sitting tall. Opening chest, relaxing face, giving yourself a smile as we come towards the end of our practice. Last little bit of effort is our upward facing plank. So you might like to bring the hands back just a little bit. You can take an upward facing tabletop, of course, with the knees bent, but it's important to lift those hips. Fingertips are facing forward. Nice, open chest, gaze to the sky. And lower it down. Come off the wrists. I feel that most across my chest, collarbones, and in the wrists. Let's shuffle forward. Have your blocks by the side of you because you're going to need those for last and final posture. And then draw those knees in towards the chest as you come to the mat. Feel the spine spread and release. Lengthening the tailbone, spreading across the sacrum, the pelvis, the waist, middle back, shoulders, upper back. Circle the knees out to the side. Not a lot of our postures today had open hips. A lot of it was all closed hip lunges. I'd say you probably really only got an open hip in your tiger and your lizards. Place the soles of the feet wide of your mat, knees are open, arms are out to the side or cactus, and then just windscreen wiper, knees to the right. You might turn the head to the left. Stay and pause. Let it drop and release. Breathe it into center. Exhale to the left. Head goes right. Drop into it. Release it out. Breathe it back into the center. Let's come into our supported fish, or you might just like to go into your fish pose. I'm going to go supported, but if you want to, you can, of course, use your hands underneath your buttocks, coming into your fish pose that way, and you can choose your supported variation. So if you are doing the fish pose, you're probably only going to stay there for maybe 5 or 6 breaths. But if you're in supported fish, you might be able to stay there a little bit longer for 10 breaths. So taking that option has you now just either active or passive choices. And that's where your heart and your mind connect to tell you what you need most. You make the decisions. If you're in the active Matsyasana fish pose, you might want to come down and take a rest, do some twists out. Maybe you're still there. And really give in to gravity if you're in the supported variation. Really let the rib cage relax and mold itself over your props. Soften through the chest, collarbones, face, upper back, middle back. And let's bring ourselves up from the supported fish. First of all, if you're in your active fish, you can just lie back into Shavasana. Take your time to come off of the blocks, take them to one side, move into Shavasana for a moment's rest. And then last thing is that we draw those knees back in, roll and massage out everywhere through the spine. Don't forget the shoulders. Give the shoulders a massage on the floor. Give the upper back, the middle back, the waists, the hips, the pelvis, the lower back. Move as you wish. And then let us come into final relaxation, making sure that you're warm if you haven't already put some clothes on, using blankets, eye pillows, whatever you need. Feet go nice and wide of your mat, the toes fall out, the legs are soft and relaxed. The pelvis becomes soft and open. Arms are by the side of your body as you lift up and spread those shoulder blades apart from one another. They're not pinching in underneath you. And then just release into the face, the head and the neck, letting the chin drop to the shoulders. And as it comes back into center, lift the head, look along the body, give the back a little stretch there. And then lengthen the neck. to bring the head and the skull back down. Take a deep exhale. Relaxing into your reward. I will let you know when it's time to come back around, but for now, enjoy this time of silence, of calm, of doing nothing, of being nowhere other than here. And feel that heart and mind connection as you're here. Keep present. Take a deeper breath in and a releasing breath out as you bring your awareness back into your surroundings, into your room, onto the mat, back into the body, wiggling toes, wiggling fingers, moving into ankles and wrists. There's never any rush to come out of a Shavasana. And you can stretch, you can draw the knees in. Gently rolling through the spine. Really feeling the spine releasing into the mat here. Taking time to roll over to one side before coming back up into a comfortable seat. Bringing the hands to Anjali at heart center, letting the thumbs rest against the sternum, just gently dropping the head down, feeling that head and heart connection, the energy that you've created through your practice today, the physical, the mental and emotional gifts and awareness that you've given yourself. Returning back to your own personal intention of how you want to feel during and after your time on the mat. And knowing that everything that you do for yourself, the kindness, the love, and the compassion on the yoga mat is always for you, and that every time you take it off of the mat, you share it with others and you connect with one another. Always thanking yourself for your practice, your mind, body, heart, and soul. And I thank you. Namaste.